And welcome back to Golden Years Unplugged. I'm so glad you're here with me today. As a man in my golden years, one of my biggest priorities is staying safe and independent in my own home. I love the freedom of living on my own. It's something I cherish deeply. But I'll be honest, as we age, there are new challenges to think about. In 2025, things like rising healthcare costs mean we can't always afford frequent doctor visits or hospital stays if something goes wrong, like a fall. Climate change is making things trickier too. Those storms and power outages can catch us off guard, and I've had to be more prepared. And don't even get me started on technology. I got a suspicious email last week that almost tricked me into giving away my bank details. It's a lot to handle, but we can take simple steps to stay safe and keep our independence. Today, I'm sharing 7 practical ways to make your home a safer, more secure place to live. We'll cover decluttering to prevent falls, setting up emergency contacts, learning basic home maintenance, securing your home, managing medications, preparing for power outages, and staying scam savvy in this digital age. This video will take about 35 minutes, so grab a cozy spot, maybe a notepad to jot down some ideas, and let's make sure you can thrive in your home for years to come. I've learned these tips through my own experiences, and I'm excited to share them with you. Let's start with the first tip, decluttering to prevent falls. Let's start with something that made a big difference in my home, decluttering to prevent falls. As seniors, falls are one of the biggest risks to our independence. I've had a few close calls myself. Last year, I tripped over this rug in my living room and nearly twisted my ankle. It was a wake-up call. In 2025, with healthcare costs so high, a fall can lead to an expensive hospital visit. So I've been proactive about making my home safer. I started by removing tripping hazards like this rug. I love the look, but it wasn't worth the risk. I either taped down my remaining rugs with double-sided tape or got rid of them altogether. I also cleared clutter from my floors, no more stacks of magazines or stray shoes lying around. I used to leave things on the stairs to take up later, but my buddy Ed told me he fell doing that, so I stopped immediately. Now I make sure my pathways are clear at all times. I also rearranged my furniture to create more space to move around. I pushed the shelf closer to the wall so I wouldn't bump into it while walking. Good lighting is key too. I added a small lamp in my hallway because I noticed it was too dark at night, and I've been meaning to replace a burnt-out bulb in the kitchen. Studies show that most falls for seniors happen at home, often because of clutter or poor lighting. So these small changes can make a big difference. It took me a weekend to declutter, and I donated some old clothes and books to a local charity. It felt good to give back while making my home safer. These steps have given me peace of mind, and I'm more confident moving around my house now. Let's move on to the next tip, setting up emergency contacts. Next, let's talk about setting up emergency contacts, something that gives me so much peace of mind. I realized a while back that if something happened, like a fall or a sudden health issue, I needed a quick way to get help. In 2025, with healthcare costs making it harder to access immediate care, having a plan is more important than ever. I made this list of emergency contacts, my son's number, my neighbor Bill's number, and my doctor's office. I keep it right by my phone like this, so I can grab it fast if I need it. I also program these numbers into my phone under speed dial. I just press one for my son, and it calls him right away. I made sure to tell my family and neighbors about my plan, so they know to check on me if I don't answer my phone. My friend Tom set up a medical alert system. It's a little bracelet that connects to a service, but I found a free alternative that works for me. I use my phone's emergency SOS feature. On my phone, I can press the side button 5 times, and it automatically calls 911 and texts my son my location. It was easy to set up. I found a tutorial online, and it's completely free. I also keep a small card in my wallet with my emergency contacts and my medical info, like my allergies to certain medications, just in case I'm out and something happens. It's a simple step, but it makes me feel more secure knowing help is just a call away. I've even practiced with my son. He knows to call Bill if he can't reach me. Having this system in place has taken a big worry off my shoulders. Let's talk about the next tip, learning basic home maintenance. Now let's talk about learning basic home maintenance, something I've been working on to keep my home safe and functional. I used to call a handyman for every little thing, but in 2025, with repair costs going up, I've learned to handle some things myself to save money. One of the first things I did was check my smoke detectors. This one in my kitchen hadn't been tested in a while, and that made me nervous. I used this small toolkit, just a screwdriver and some batteries I had lying around, and replaced the battery. It took me 5 minutes, and now I know it's working properly. I also tested my carbon monoxide detector. It's super important since I use a gas heater in the winter, and carbon monoxide is a silent danger. I learned how to shut off my water valve too. My friend Ed had a pipe burst during a storm last year, and he wished he'd known how to stop the flooding. It's easy. I found the main valve in my basement, and I practiced turning it off with a wrench I keep nearby. I also keep a flashlight, like this one, in every room. Climate change has brought more power outages with those storms, and I don't want to be fumbling in the dark if the lights go out. I even watched a free YouTube video to learn how to fix a leaky faucet. It saved me from calling a plumber, which would have cost a fortune with today's rates. These little skills make me feel more in control, and they save money too. It's empowering to know I can handle small repairs on my own, and it keeps my home running smoothly. Let's move on to the next tip, securing your home for peace of mind. Let's talk about securing your home, because feeling safe is so important for our independence. I've always been careful, but in 2025, I've noticed more stories about break-ins in my area, and I want to be prepared. I started by making sure all my doors have good locks. This deadbolt on my front door was a cheap upgrade, just $15 at the hardware store, and it makes me feel secure. I also installed a peephole. I got it for a few dollars, and now I can see who's at the door before I open it. I never open the door for strangers, especially after hearing about scams targeting seniors. My buddy Tom had someone come to his door claiming to be from the electric company, but it turned out to be a scam. He was lucky he didn't let them in. I also keep my windows locked, especially at night, and I added a simple stick in the window track to stop it from being opened from the outside. It's a trick I learned online, and it cost me nothing since I used a piece of wood I had in the garage. I don't leave spare keys outside anymore. My neighbor Bill had his stolen from under a mat, so I gave a spare to my son instead. I also keep my porch light on at night. It's a small deterrent, and I got a solar-powered one, so it doesn't add to my electric bill, which is important with rising costs. I've even started trimming the bushes near my windows. They were getting overgrown, and I read that tall shrubs can give intruders a place to hide. These steps are affordable and easy, and they help me sleep better knowing my home is secure. Let's talk about the next tip, managing medications safely. Now let's talk about managing medications safely, something I've had to get serious about to stay independent. I take a few pills every day for my blood pressure and cholesterol, and I used to forget if I'd taken them or not, which worried me. In 2025, with healthcare costs making doctor visits pricier, I can't afford a mistake that lands me in the hospital, so I've put a system in place. I started using this pill organizer. I got it for a couple of bucks, and it has compartments for each day of the week. Every Sunday, I sit down and fill it up for the week, like this, sorting my pills into the right slots. It takes 5 minutes, and now I never miss a dose. I also keep a notebook where I write down when I take each pill. It helps me stay on track, especially on days when I'm feeling forgetful. I set a daily alarm on my phone too. It beeps at 8 a.m. to remind me to take my morning meds, and I have another at 6 p.m. for my evening dose. My friend Ed keeps his meds in one spot, but I learned the hard way to store them away from the kitchen counter. Last year, I knocked over a bottle while cooking, and I didn't want to risk mixing them up. I also make sure to check expiration dates. I found an old bottle of painkillers that was out of date, and I took it to the pharmacy to dispose of it safely. I keep a list of my medications, including the dosage and what they're for, taped inside my medicine cabinet, so if I ever need help, someone can see exactly what I take. These steps help me manage my health on my own, which is so important for staying independent. Let's move on to the next tip, preparing for power outages. Let's talk about preparing for power outages, something I've had to think about more in 2025. With climate change bringing more storms, like that big one we had last month, power outages are becoming more common, and I want to be ready. I keep a flashlight in every room like this one, so I'm never caught in the dark. I also have spare batteries in a drawer, and I check them every few months to make sure they're not expired. I got this battery-powered radio for $10 at a thrift store. It lets me listen to weather updates if the power's out, which gives me peace of mind. I put together a small emergency kit too. It's just a shoebox with some essentials: a few bottles of water, some granola bars, a blanket, and a first aid kit I already had. I keep it under my bed so I know exactly where it is. My neighbor Bill told me he was stuck without heat during a winter outage last year, so I also keep a few extra blankets handy, and I know how to safely use my gas heater without electricity. I've made sure my phone is always charged. I plug it in every night. And I have a portable charger that I keep charged too, just in case I need to call for help. I also know where my circuit breaker is, and I've practiced resetting it after a small outage last year. It was easier than I thought. These steps are simple, but they make a big difference when the power goes out. I feel more prepared, and that helps me stay independent even during emergencies. Let's wrap up with some final thoughts. We've covered so much today, friends. From decluttering to prevent falls, setting up emergency contacts, learning basic home maintenance, securing your home, managing medications, preparing for power outages, and staying scam savvy. These tips can help you stay safe and independent in your home. I've been using these strategies myself, and they've given me so much confidence. I hope they do the same for you. Pick one tip to try this week. Maybe declutter a small area or make an emergency contact list, and let me know in the comments how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more ideas to make your golden years the best yet. Thanks for being here with me. You're doing great, and I'm proud of you for taking steps to stay safe. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.